This is Seers Supreme, and he is about to embark on a journey that he doesn't need to. I know he's asked him to, but he's going to do it anyway. This is Supreme One Chunk Ironman Seers Village Edition. As an introduction to the series, I recently spoke to the grandfather, the grand architect, the pioneer of Supreme Chunk in Buzrs, and asked permission to put this series together using his rules, and of course putting a little spin on it for myself. And being the gracious person he is, he has allowed me to borrow the concept. So if you haven't seen his channel before, haven't seen this series before, I suggest checking it out because it is what inspired me to start this. A quick recap for people who don't know what a chunk is. It is a 64 by 64 section of the map, and the entire Old School Runescape map is made up of these chunks. My starting chunk is 10806, which is the Seers Village, and I am not allowed to leave until I've completed all the tasks within that chunk as set out in the Supreme Chunk rules, but also as specified on the Chunk Picker website, which is what you can see here. With that said, this is the list of rules I will be abiding by, most of which were originally set by Buzrs, but I've put a little spin on them just to ensure that this account isn't the death of me and doesn't take me the next 30 years to get out of the chunk. So rule number 1 is that we will have to get every drop from every NPC that's located within the chunk. I'll only need to do this for the first instance of that NPC that we encounter. So that means, for example, the goblin drops, we get them all in one chunk. If we see the goblins again in the next chunk, we don't have to re-get those drops. Rule number 2, I'll be unlocking and activating the highest prayer I possibly can within the chunk. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Some of the prayers you can't actually obtain without doing certain quests or acquiring them from raids, so it'll only be the ones that I can actually activate within the chunk. Rule 3, I will be unlocking and casting the highest magic spell I can with the runes available to me within the chunk. This may change as time goes on, as I may get, for example, soul runes from imps, meaning the spell requirement will actually get higher than what it is. Rule number 4, I will be attempting to obtain every pet possible in the chunk. I'm not a complete madman, so I will potentially be setting an exemption that if I do achieve level 99 in that skill before I obtain the pet, then I can backlock it, and then potentially every chunk I unlock after the first, I would then have to continue to get an extra million or so XP in that skill until I receive the pet. Finally, number 5, and arguably the most important rule, I will review each of these rules on a case-by-case basis to ensure that I'm not still mucking about in this chunk for the next 10 years, and I think we all want to see some kind of progression on the account, so I'll have the opportunity to review this and potentially agree with all you guys on what would be best for the series. So there's the rules, and now it's time to talk about the chunk itself and the initial tasks that we'll have, with some maybe things to think about in the future. And I've got almost 200 tasks, so I'm not short in variety of what I can do. The first thing is I can now pick the first 4 chunks that I will potentially be getting into maybe another year's time, but we've got Sinclair's Mansion, Camelot Castle, Sorcerer's Tower, and Magruber's Wood. With the chunk rules being as they are, I can't travel diagonally, so I'll have to go into one of these chunks before I can get to things like the Ranging Guild, the Beehives, etc. One thing I did learn from looking at various accounts, talking to various people and doing a bit of a check myself, there are potential issues to look out for in the future where, for example, this chunk here right next to Magruber's Wood, I can get into this chunk from Magruber's Wood, but I can't actually cross this agility shortcut to get into this area of the coal trucks with the quest until I've got 20 agility. Now, there is no way for me to train agility in any of these chunks. The Seers Village one is, I think, level 40 or level 60 agility. So the only way I'll be able to cross this is by lamping to 20 agility, which is possible, but it's whether that is achievable by the time I get there. So that might be something that we have to consider if and when we get past this chunk number 4. So now we can go through all of the current chunk tasks that I have. So the first one is to get 40 defense to wield a U-shield, 72 fletching to fletch that U-shield, 85 magic to cast teleblock, and as discussed in the rules, if I get things like soul runes, I will have to cast teleport other to Camelot, which is a higher magic requirement. I think it's 90 magic. I need 52 prayer to activate smite. I need to get, well, I'll have one thieving, so I'll just need to pickpocket a man. 60 wood cutting to chop U-logs. And then in best in slot tasks, I'll need to obtain an iron dagger, obtain a bronze med helm, obtain a corrupted kite shield, obtain a U-shield, which I'll get from fletching and then wielding it, and then Staff of Air from the air elementals. In terms of quests, I can get up to step 2 of Elemental Workshop 1, which is essentially get the book, open the book and get the key, and that's it. I've got 4 diary tasks. One is to play the organ, which is located in the Seers Village church. Task 7 is to kill one of each of the elementals, and the easy task 9 is to buy a stew from the guy who sells them in the Seers Village pub. Then the other tasks, there is all the drop tables. So within Elemental Workshop 1, when I get the key, I can then go into the Elemental Workshop itself, and in there's the air elementals, so I'll have all of the drop table for them. There's the earth elementals, same for them. There is also the ore variant, which is before it actually wakes up. Then there's the fire elemental, the man drop table, which is almost identical to the woman drop table, but seeing as they're different, they'll be separate. The water elementals in Elemental Workshop, then there's all the woman drop table, and then we move on to the extra other items. So the collection log, I can obtain boots, lumberjack boots, I can obtain the Twitcher's gloves, the log basket, the log brace, the clothes pouch, the cape pouch, the felling axe, all from just the trees that I have available to me in the chunk. There's also the beaver pet and the rocky pet, which is the thieving pet. So again, I'll be going for those unless I get to 99 and I'm able to leave the chunk, in which case every chunk I unlock after that I will get an additional 1 million XP until I get the beaver or rocky. There's also a couple in here which I'm not 100% sure about. I think you can get the petal garland in this chunk because you don't need any required items, but things like the fox whistle and the golden pheasant egg, you can't actually get them unless you have certain items to create the trap or the egg cushion. And then the other thing would be the bank space. So with the bank space, I'll have to get upwards of, almost a bill to upgrade all of these bank slots. I think that's a bit too extreme, especially saying that the only way I can actually make money in this chunk is by killing men and women and getting a maximum of 25 gold each time. So I might be here for a very long time before I can do that. So that's one to review and maybe backlog. And then the last two are to change my gravestone in Death's Office to the Angel and to obtain the Corrupted Kite Shield, which is already tracked in the best in slot. So that's all the tasks that I'll have to do in this chunk. Not sure how long that's going to take me. I might do some calculations to figure out each one in the future as we get through them. Okay, time to set the name. Seers Supreme. That was good. And it's available, perfect. And now we need to create what we need to look like. And that's it. I'm going to make myself look like a monkey seer kind of guy. Perfect. And now we're going to make ourselves a hardcore Ironman. so we can get this done properly. See how long we can get that to last for. See how high up on the high scores we can get stuck in one chunk. Right, so I'm just coming in at the end here just to make a few points. So as you can see with this, it is the resizable modern layout, and I think that that was my preferred way to play. I like the modern layout, but as I've started to go through the series, work through the various levels and see how it looks when editing, it just didn't feel right. So as this goes on, you'll eventually see this slowly swap from the resizable modern layout to the classic fixed layout, and that will slowly then change so that different things that appear on the screen, like the latency and the max hit, the accurate, the weapon style stuff, some of that will disappear, some of it will reappear, just so I'm just kind of putting the feelers out, trying to think what's going to be the best to make it look the best on the screen. So I guess apologies for how this will change in this first episode, but hopefully I get it down for the rest. We're starting out here. I think the plan is just pickpocket as many men as physically possible, get as much gold as we can. I think I'm gonna change this left click from attack to pickpocket, make that a bit easier. So the aim is to get as much gold as we can right now, maybe get to 10 thieving in the process. We can go and buy a chunk of stews from the guy in the pub, and then maybe we swap to just killing people, just killing as many people as we can, men, women, try and get a load of those drop log things tied off early on, maybe get some of the drops that we want, such as the iron dagger, bronze med helm, and there's 2 thieving, great. And then past that we'll maybe get into cutting trees, fletching, see where we get up to. Okay, so we actually just got the maximum amount of coin pouches that you can before you have to open them, 28. That's got us 84 GP, not too bad. It's really strange that it caps there. I don't know why that would cap. But we're at 2 HP now, so probably going to have to go and spend this gold pretty soon, or else I might die within the first 10 minutes of the account. So yeah, we're going to go over to the Seers Village pub, and this guy actually sells stew, which is a task on the list. So we'll go speak to him. What do you have? He actually sells meat pies as well, which I think are better. I think they heal more than stews, so I'm going to buy a few of those till I've used up all my money, and then we'll get back to pickpocketing. And there's 5 thieving, on our way to 10, and 8 thieving, on our way, and that's it, we've hit the 10 thieving, so now it's time to move on to something else. In terms of things in the chunk, there is this garlic on the table in this house, and there's also a knife spawn in this house here, which obviously unlocks for us the fletching grind. Just in case you're wondering how I'm going to fletch, it'll be that way. And I think we can just go chuck these in the bank. I'm not going to tell you what my pin is. So pop all this stuff away in the bank. Oh, I've got this set to 1. The other thing that's in this chunk as well that came about with Forestry Part 1 is this guy here has a bronze axe spawn behind him. So that is how we can unlock the woodcutting grind, to then move on to the fletching grind. Inside this guy's shop we can also get the forestry kit, which is now free with one of the recent updates. So we can have a best in slot cape slot as well. Not too bad. We're going to move on to the women drop table now. Try and get as many as we can. Maybe I'll stay here until we get all of them, and then we can just tick that whole chunk off and then move on to the next thing. Tell you what, this woman almost kicked my arse. Literally, like almost I guess it was 1.5 meat pies before I managed to kill her. Jeez. We managed to get a guam leaf out of that and the bones drop, so that's 2 things off the list already. And there's another kill, and we get the earth talisman. Nice, another one off the list. And there's 2 strength on our way up. So just missed it, but we got 5 strength. And you can see in the event we've also got a lantern, marantil, and some bronze bolts, and there's some copper ore as well. So we're ticking lots of stuff off. And that's 6 strength and 5 combat. So I just managed to get level 9 strength, 50 total level, and 6 combat, all in the same kill. Not too bad, not too bad. And we missed level 10 strength, but you know, I've got ADHD, so sometimes it's hard to keep track. But we can swap to attack style now and try and get that to level 10. 5 attack and 8 combat. I know this grind, this account is going to take me probably quite a long time to get out of this one chunk, but you know, I think I'm going to enjoy myself doing this. You know, it's been a long time since I started an account from scratch, and just being able to, you know, go through those early levels, get all those pop-ups, it feels quite good. Because when you get to, you know, another couple of months down the line, it's going to be a long time in between levels, and I'm going to be scratching for content. Oh, that's big. Iron dagger drop. I'll put this on. I think it's a pretty significant upgrade. Yeah, we got +2 crush, +4 slash, and it goes to +5 stab, +3 slash, +4 melee strength. That's not bad. It's less than the axe, but I think overall it's a lot better. So that's the first easy clue scroll drop that we've got. That's pretty big. Tick off the list. But unfortunately it's East Ardoon. So there are several clue scroll steps that I can do within the easy tier, and it is definitely possible for me to complete one in this chunk. I just need to get super lucky or do a big clue score grind. So maybe we'll do that at some point. That's 10 attack and 10 combat. Not bad. I'm becoming a big old boy. And there's our first beginner clue score drop. Unfortunately I can't do any of these steps in the chunk that I'm in, because I'm in a members area and all the beginner clue score steps are in free to play areas. But it's a nice drop anyway to get off the list. Oh, perfect. Bronze med helm. That's the next gear upgrade on the account. So at the minute I'm all zeros with that little +1 magic, but this actually takes up to +3 stab, +4 slash, +2 crush. Pretty sweet. And I missed the level again. What a surprise. But now we can swap back to strength. We've got a 10 defense. They're all pretty even round numbers now, which is good for my ADHD brain. So we'll do this to 20 strength and then swap over to attack again. That's 20 strength. So, we're here on the Old School Wiki, because I've been having a strange thing happen where the 10 gold drop, I haven't had it, and I've been killing a lot of women. And I came here on the wiki to have a check, and if you look at here, it says, only dropped in free-to-play. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to backlog this one, and get it when we find a woman in somewhere in the free-to-play zone, Falador most likely. 20 attack, 20 hit points, and 20 combat. You gotta love those numbers. And that's it. Chaos runes. That was the last drop to get for the women drop table. So let's go to the bank and see all the stuff we've got. And here we are. Here's the loot. So I think I killed probably about 384, 385 women for all of these. I accidentally buried a few of the bones. We got about 8 copper, Lantatimes, Marintils, Taramins, got 3 Ranars, Avanto, Quorm, Irits, Haralander, Dwarfweed, Cadentine, got some cabbages, 16 fishing bait, some bronze arrows, various runes, which will be used later on, Talisman, and then 3 iron daggers and 8 bronze medhelms. I think I probably got about 900 or so coins after buying all of the meat pies. So there's good loot overall. I think we can go and check, see how much that is on the GE. About 91.5k. Not really a efficient money maker, but it means that small grind has come to an end. Oh, I just noticed bronze bolts as well. Let's pop those in the checker. Probably won't be much. 92.5k. Yeah. So that is the end of the woman grind. So on to the next thing. Right. So here we are back in the chunk picker after killing all of those women and pickpocketing those men to start off, so we can start ticking some of this off. So we did the 1 thieving, pickpocketed man. We've got the iron dagger, best in slot melee weapon. We also got the bronze medhelm, which is the best in slot melee ranged head. We don't have any of these yet. Haven't started doing these. Haven't got any of these drop tables, so we can just make our way to the women. So we've got all of these. And doesn't this feel good? We figured out that this was a backlog, so we'll drop that in the backlog. Got all of the herbs, which would be good for the future when we inevitably make it to Tavali and can start Druid Ritual. And we got the nothing drop as well, so that's everything. And I think that's going to end the episode here. I think that's a good spot to do it. So in the next episode we will, who knows, we'll do some other random stuff, waste another couple of months and then see where we end up. Thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. It may not sound like I'm having fun, but that's just my voice, and I really am. Please do all the standard YouTube stuff. I want as many people as possible to witness the pain that I'm about to go through. And then who knows, maybe one day I can pay someone to edit better than I can, and you can actually get some exciting graphics on the screen. But just a final note, I will be uploading as regularly as I can, but seeing as some of these grinds may take a while, I'm cooking up a series to run alongside this one for all you 100% lovers out there, which will hopefully fill in the gaps. But until next time, bye!